Pika 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 Pikachu. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, April 30th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Starting off with two video game launches today. The first one I want to talk about is Returnal, the Live Die Repeat video game. No, I just always think of that whenever I think of time loop video games. But Returnal is the latest game coming from Housemark Studios. They're a Finnish studio. I don't know why you need that information, but I did a little bit of background just to make sure whether or not they were actually owned by Sony. But the game is, which they aren't. The game is a Sony exclusive, and the reason it kind of caught my eye is the fact that it's a Sony exclusive, the fact that it's got a lot of kind of Sony budget behind it, and the reason why that's interesting and unique is this is kind of how I feel like the first AAA roguelike game. Usually roguelikes are kind of stuffed into your indie darlings on your Steam exclusive games, but this is kind of a big publisher getting behind a big, multi-million-dollar roguelike. So I've been very interested to see kind of how this one will come out of the gate. And the game's looking pretty good. I've seen a little bit of gameplay. I've seen a little bit of things talking about how the game might or might not need a save feature, which I'm not typically the biggest roguelike fan, but I'm definitely interested in picking this game up and seeing what it's all about. It's currently at an 86 Metacritic, so pretty good, pretty high up there. So if you're looking for a third-person sci-fi shooter, this could be right up your alley. Again, I'm going to play through it, but I'm still wondering. Roguelikes just typically, I kind of bounce off them. Sometimes they don't have enough permanent progression for me, and that's usually why I bounce off them. But let's see how this one does. Definitely very interested in it. Also, as my cold open talked about, Pokemon Snap or new Pokemon Snap, because couldn't be bothered with kind of thinking up a new name and got to keep that Pokemon Snap brand recognition. This game has been over 20 years in the making. The last one came out in 1999. Did a little bit of research, and Nintendo's given us a good shot of that nostalgia. People have very fond memories of the N64 days of playing Pokemon Snap. So I think a lot of people are very excited to see, what the new stuff is. It seems like there's a lot more interactability, a lot more mechanics. So very interested and there's a lot more Pokemon since there was in 1999. So people have a lot of stuff to go back down through, and I think a lot of people are going to be picking it up just for that nostalgia hit. And I'm probably one of them, so I can't look too down on, on anyone picking it up because the game's going to be fun. Definitely seems like it has a lot to kind of chew through and hopefully enough body there to kind of keep people interested. So I'm excited for Pokemon Snap, currently sitting at an 80 Metacritic. So looking to pick that one up as well. That wasn't enough PlayStation news. PlayStation also did a state of play yesterday. As of recording this on Friday, they did theirs on Thursday. It came out kind of late, and I don't think there was too much kind of buzz going into this one. But they talked about it, and it was kind of short, just 20 minutes or so. They only talked about three games, and that was about it. So, but they wanted to build up to their Ratchet and Clank release. They started off with Subnautica Below Zero, which I wasn't quite sure if this was an expansion or a sequel to the last Subnautica game. But, it seems to be continuing the story. And you're now in kind of a frozen place and a frozen area, and there seems to be just a little bit more story going on. So hopefully it goes well for Subnautica. I didn't play the first one, so I have limited opinions on Subnautica, but base builder, underwater base builder, kind of seems fun. Among Us was also kind of a small 1 minute of the 22-minute state of play. It's coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. I'm really curious to see how the gameplay will look. They kind of showed like in the wire portion mini game that you play in Among Us, like it had the X circle square triangle stuff going on. So I think that's been one of the things is PlayStation parties have already existed, so I think people have kind of been waiting for this to be brought to console for a while. I wonder how they'll do kind of the mute stuff, and I know that's just kind of a general rule people use, but you usually mute yourself um, in between sessions or in between talking sessions on Among Us. But anyway, we'll work out all of that stuff when we get Among Us on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And then the last big portion, about 15 minutes of it, was all just hyping up Ratchet and Clank. They showed off the new character Rivet, which I think they had kind of shown us the art for previously, but now they actually named the character. They talked a little bit more about gameplay. They talked about how smooth and quick kind of switching between dimensions is going to be, and how it loads in the entire level and not just like, you know, that portion of it or a small portion of it and builds it out from there. So really kind of showing off the processing power of the PlayStation 5. They also had a lot of stuff where they were talking about the haptic feedback. That's actually one of the things I really liked. I'm a recent bandwagon Ratchet and Clank fan. I only played I played the last one, I think, which was in 2016 or 2017. And I was really excited to play that game. And I really liked the gunplay. There's a lot of diverse guns, and that plus the haptic feedback kind of seems like a pretty good marriage. So hopefully that works out for Ratchet and Clank, and I'm excited to pick it up. And this was a good refresher of when the release date is, of June 11th. So for those of you who haven't been keeping track, that's when Ratchet and Clank comes out. A new Battle Royale game came out this week, or hit the streets this week. I think it's in early access or some kind of form of early access. It's got a lot of really good content. They're already kind of started running out of Steam codes. In one of the articles I read, talking about how there's a really big thirst for it. It popped up in all of my Twitch feeds. It looked like a 3 or 4 player mode, but it has a lot of the stuff that you recognize with like a slowly decreasing circle. But it has really a lot of settlements and a lot of NPCs and a lot of like stuff that you have to fight besides other players. A lot of NPCs to fight around. And it definitely seems, was reading a few articles talking about the key is more survival and less about kind of the aggressive kill. All in all, it's been getting a lot of buzz. So if you're into kind of the next iteration of Battle Royale games, check out Scavengers. I give Fortnite 3 to 4 weeks before they implement all of the things that Scavengers done, and then everybody will be back to Fortnite anyway. So not sure that this is a Fortnite killer or anything like that, but people have definitely been interested in it. So excited to talk about it. The games industry has finally won its first Academy Award. That's right. The Oscars were last week, and Respawn Studio was up for a docu-short called Colette, which was about a woman kind of revisiting France after the French Revolution, or the French Resistance, not the French Revolution, the French Resistance in World War II, returning back to kind of France and her whole journey. I haven't actually watched the full short yet, but it's about 24 minutes long, and Respawn, was up for it, and they actually won it. So gaming has now won its first Oscar, which was very impressive and exciting to see. Kind of the people behind games can also be recognized for things outside of the games industry, and kind of showing the saturation of games and the studios and the people behind it kind of being risen to that level. Is very impressive. So I'm excited. I know how boring the Oscars were last week, so and I didn't watch too much of it, but excited to see video games getting its first Oscar, first of many, hopefully. Riot, in an effort to combat toxicity in Valorant, Riot, typically known for having probably one of the more toxic communities out there, they are always trying to figure out ways to combat toxicity in their games. And in order to do that for Valorant, they decided to start recording in-game chat. So going forward, they'll be listening to you. You're probably used to devices listening to you all the time, just like Alexa, play Despacito, which is another meme of something is playing, or that you're constantly being listened to. But yeah, in order to combat toxicity, Riot is implementing a means to record in-game chat to kind of see how they can figure it out and how to work against that, which I think that's going to be pretty hard, even though they're going to be collecting a lot of data. How do you use that? But I guess some poor sap or a group of people are going to have to, whenever someone gets flagged for inappropriate behavior, someone's going to have to go check the logs and listen to whatever the horrible thing that person said or didn't say in order to ban them or not ban them. So definitely feels a little bit creepy. Definitely, just it's gonna suck for everybody to try and figure all this out. But hopefully, Windows can figure out their slider bar solution to derogatory terms or whatever's going on there. So, or no, it wasn't Windows. Who was that? That Intel? I forget which big company was working on anti-vulgarity measures or something like that, and there was a sliding scale that people chewed them out for. But anyway, a little creepy, but hopefully Riot can figure out their toxic community someday. So at least it's a step in the right direction. Also saw this week in some kind of the gear and merch section, Secret Labs has a desk. Secret Labs usually known for making comfortable chairs. They have a desk that they are putting out for $450. It comes with everything you'd ever want in the perfect desk. It's got a nice, rectangular finish. It's got a mouse pad, an entire mouse pad on top, so you don't have to worry about a mouse pad. It's got RGB lighting because of course it does, and it's got a really cool cord management system. So someone's birthday is coming up, and they could probably use an RGB desk with a mouse pad top. Definitely need a new mouse pad. And the cord management solution seemed pretty cool. So check out the link down below in the description for Secret Labs desk, their new desk that's coming out. Anytime a new Pokemon game comes out, there's always, or at least most Switch, anytime most Switch things happen, they're going to come with a cool Switch accessory that you can get. So there's a new Pokemon Snap accessory that allows you to print the photos that you take in Pokemon Snap. It's a $100 printer. It prints, I don't remember what the exact dimensions of it. It looked like it was 2x4 or 3x5, like pretty small prints. For those of you too young to remember what a photograph is, just imagine that it's a picture on your phone, but that you can carry around like on a piece of paper. I'm not that old. Pokemon, yeah, so there's a new Pokemon Snap accessory for $100. Maybe I'll buy it too. I'll probably get some pretty cool shots in Pokemon Snap, so it'd be kind of cool to check those out. But as with most things that Nintendo does, pretty expensive accessory just to be able to do kind of some crazy stuff like that. Also, who owns a printer anymore? Anyway, moving on. Outer Wilds. I was actually kind of impressed with this. Outer Wilds has a new DLC coming out. Some random person on, I think, Steam just kind of figured it out or spotted it. It's called Echoes of the Eye, which is definitely very interesting and says all the right words for those of you who've played the Outer Wilds. I'm pretty excited about this. This is 2 years in the making, so I'm glad to see that Mobius is kind of still putting out DLC. I'll probably be there day one to pick it up and play it, because I could definitely use a few more loops in my life, because I really like that game. And last but certainly not least, Double Fine, the studio behind like Psychonauts, that recently that was purchased by Microsoft. They kind of had a 2-hour movie that they put out that kind of talked through a little bit of their creative process. I only watched like the first 5 to 10 minutes of it, but it was really cool. It was like they just kind of broke everybody up into teams, and this was like they talked about kind of where their thought process behind, like, in order to combat crunch and to help people get the creative juices flowing. They have this system called Amnesia Fortnite, and that's Fortnite with a G, with an IGH T and not ITE. So what they do is people are allowed to like take 2 weeks or so and kind of build out a prototype of the game and kind of pitch it to the lead at Double Fine, and he kind of takes their pitches and kind of gives people more resources and allows them to kind of build out these things, and it seemed pretty cool. It was pretty interesting way to like keep your team invested and keep your team kind of always creating stuff. Anytime they hit a roadblock, take them off. Maybe they make another game or something. And it definitely seemed really involved. Someone had puppets in one of the ones that I was seeing. Some people just they do really cool creative stuff, and it definitely seemed like a way to keep people in the studio kind of up and running and constantly involved and get the creative juices flowing. So I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'll have a link down in the description. And I might finish it off and just kind of see what it's like working at Double Fine and making these games over the course of like 2 weeks. So very cool, very interesting, and something worth checking out. That's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have a link down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!